I don't think people realize that when you're a grown man, you have a lot of emotional needs. When you're a grown man, you want a woman in your life. You want to have those emotional events, those emotional connections, going to the movies, going out to eat, late night love making sessions, just to feel that connectivity with another individual. But guys like us, man, a lot of us, we've had more bad in our life than positive, and some of the events in our life just destroyed our confidence, our self esteem, our self belief. We have emotional degradation. You know, we have a lot of self doubt and beliefs, and that comes from a life of constant pain and constant agony. And when you have like family or associates or anybody around who they don't support your dreams or ambitions, they're constantly fighting, they're constantly trying to cause problems for you, they're in a bad mood, you know, it's true. I just got through watching a Schizo Dumps video. He was talking about how people's energy around you affects you. And I'm like, yeah, that's 1,000% true. If everybody around you is negative, if everybody around you thinks that the 9 to 5 job is the only way to be successful, well, that's going to have a tremendous and exponential effect on your mindset, beliefs, and your acknowledgments. And to make matters worse is that when you're a grown man, getting yelled at, let's say you still live with your parents, your dad yells at you, your mom yells at you, even your older brother may get on you for not having a job or just being in your room all day. And that's another thing. It's like when you're in your room, it's like your safe haven, and outside of it is doom because your mind and your body learned that every time you leave the room, there's doom. Outside the room is doom. I think I'm going to put that on a shirt or something, but it's true. And when you're a grown man and you've been pretty much stagnant in your teenage years, so like you've been trapped in the mindset or the habits of a 15-year-old, but you're 32 right now, or you're 28, or you're 25, or you're 23, but your mind, or maybe not your mind, but your environment hasn't changed since you was a teenager. You never had a girlfriend, you never been on a date, you never really had any type of sexual alleviation, you never had no emotional connectivity with a woman, and it breaks you down. And then when your parents yell at you or talk crap to you, how do you expect to be a grown man and go to a woman? That takes an incredible amount of strength to be yelled at by your mother at 27, or your father who yells at you, take that trash out, blah, 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 and go find a job. You ain't doing nothing all day. That hurts your feelings. And and then those same people that did that to you will expect you to go find a wife and be a man and have children and just ignore that. Maybe some people can do that, but a lot of people can't. When somebody breaks you down, when you're already emotionally, just destroyed in a void, how do they expect you to get confidence to find a girl? Because girls can see fake confidence. A woman's going to know whether a man is legitimately confident. A man that's like a Chad or a Tyrone that gets plenty of sexual access with females, that has a lot of, sexual encounters, that has girlfriends, maybe even a girl was his, fiance at one time or something like that, and this guy has his own job, or he has his own business, he has a car, he has things going on, he has an uncle and a dad that owns businesses, he has assets that appreciate with value, he has digital assets and accumulation and retention, he has all these things. Meanwhile, you're trapped in your room, you're as a grown man going to your 9 to 5. You wake up, you go to the work, you deal with the bull crap at work, the customers, the boss, the job, you deal with that crap, then you come home and your parents yell at you to take the trash out, and then they expect you to move out and get your own house and do this and find a wife and have children. It's like you can't do that. You need people around you that nourish you and encourage you. If everybody around you is against you, if everybody around you is always targeting you, if everybody around you is always talking about you, they're always talking negative. You see, words have power and words have meaning. And some people can talk bad about you and talk crap about you and actually send like curses or spells your way in a way. Now there are magical protections and elements for that, um, like a Kelto talks about that on her channel called Satan and Sons. She talks about that, like how people, you know, people in your family can sabotage you with their thoughts and their actions and intentions. There's somebody in your family where, let's say you had a chance to be somebody great and they seen the potential in you, but they lack the potential in themselves. So to make themselves feel better, they call you a loser for not having a job, knowing damn well if anybody who's in a music game or anybody in the game that can let you in, if they heard you and they brought you in, you'd be a winner and a superstar overnight. And then those same people talking about you can never catch up. You're not even in a race. That's one thing about it. In this world, if you're somebody that's great or have a talent or have potential or just rare or interesting to weird people or just interesting to good people as well, but people are going to latch themselves on you and try to parasite off of you, because they've never encountered anything like you. So when they encounter you, they're like, wow, because these are these devils and demons that encounter the divine spark. When they see the divine spark, they're in awe. They're like, how can somebody be so intelligent, articulate, but have a skin color configuration of something that, maybe they have a certain type of personal bias against? Because people will target people as well that have, that look different from them, and especially in this toxic community, I'm in a men's health space. I don't associate myself with the black pill or nothing like that. It's just there's too many weirdos and ne'er-do-wells that are involved. There's a lot of weird people, and people pick and choose who they want to support. They pick and choose who they want to watch. They pick and choose. Oh, if this person said, like, you can say the exact same thing somebody else says. They'll ignore that person, but they'll hyperfixate on you, even though you're saying the same thing everybody else says. So it's like, that's how you know it's not just, that's how you know, how come somebody can just watch your video, disagree, and then go on about their life, It's that simple. You don't like this person, then why do you spend so much of your time watching this person's videos? That makes no sense to me. If you don't like somebody, why are you watching their videos? Why are you spending your limited amount of time on earth to watch this person? You have to have something better else to do. That's why I never understood it, like this world, it's designed off of conflict. It's designed off of warfare. It's designed to break your mind. It's designed to make you feel low. It's designed to make you explode. And when you have people who don't really understand you, they don't get your pain, they don't understand why you're in a certain situation because they've never been in that situation themselves. You see, a lot of people have no sympathy or empathy or compassion for people that they don't understand. It's why we have so many conflicting interests in this country and around the world globally. This world is not really designed for you to be happy. Everything's orchestrated and coordinated so you can be obliterated. It's just that simple. Your emotions are confined to one specific pattern. Being anxious about work. Oh man, I don't feel like going to work today. Oh crap. Oh, I gotta pay this bill. Oh, I gotta pay my phone bill. I gotta pay the light bill. Oh, crap. Oh man, oh man, and oh dang, then you see a pretty girl, then you get excited for 1 second, then remember your position, and then you can be you can have a situation where you can have a good day, kinda. You can be neating, watching your anime, playing your video games, and then you're on Instagram or YouTube, you're watching these pretty girls and you're fantasizing like, man, she's my girlfriend, we're going out for coffee, a dinner date, we're gonna go to a nice fancy restaurant by the beach, like Long John Silver's, and then somebody bangs on your door. Take that mother effing boy, take that mother effing trash out. Take that damn trash out. Blah, blah, blah. I hope you're looking for jobs in there. You better get your ass a damn job. You can find yourself on the streets. You know what I mean? You hear that, and that breaks down your whole entire belief about yourself. Or your dad. All of a sudden, your sister, you meet a girl. Finally, you meet a girl after like a long time trying. You meet her on the app, and she wants to meet up. And you're like, crap, gotta take the car, and then all of a sudden your dad is tripping that night. Oh, did you finish your homework? It's like, yeah, you're a grown ass man. He's asking you about your homework. Oh, have you looked for jobs and all that? Yeah, I looked for jobs. So where do you think you going this time of night? Oh, dad, I meet the girl, I got a date. You ain't going in my car. You gotta put some gas in it. You got some gas money? Because I ain't give you no gas money. I gave you money I gave you $25 last week or 2 weeks ago. And you still owe me for that. You're like, Dad, can I just take the car real quick? This girl, I just want to meet this girl. That's gonna make me happy. I'm just want to meet this girl. Like you always tell me to go out there and meet and enjoy my life and meet girls, and now you're not letting me. It's my car. I paid for it, and blah blah blah. It's just like, okay, so now you can't even, so now you got a text, so now you can't use your dad's car. You can't use even your own car. Like if it's not really yours, if your parents helped you get the car or whatever, they kind of have some ownership on it. And then sometimes, even if it is your own car, you'll have controlling parents that says, if you leave this house, don't come back, So now you have to be trapped and confined. So now your emotions are deteriorated. You message the girl, oh, sorry, can we reschedule? And then she ghosts you because Chad doesn't have that problem. Chad got his own house or apartment, his own car. So when she looked and seen you, oh yeah, I can't make it tonight. She just ignores you and looks at 1,000 of other men who are ready. And then within 15 minutes, she's in somebody else's car. And within an hour, she's engaging in promiscuous activities. Meanwhile, you're in the room just sad and doomed, and then you ain't got no weed, you don't have no alcohol, you don't have any type of mind altering substances that can numb the pain and numb the insanity that you're going through, and this is brutal. This is real life, man. A lot of us, we've been infantilized, meaning that we're grown men, but we're like a lot of us were in positions where we weren't allowed to be grown men, you know, where you get yelled at by your parents, etc., etc., etc. And let's say you do get a girlfriend. Your last 10, 15 years, you were living with your parents, so you don't have no real life experience as a man, and you're older now. You're 28, you're in your 30s, you're almost in your 40s, maybe you're 26, 27. And your last, years, you were getting yelled at by your parents. So you don't have that confidence. You don't have that life experience that these other men do. They got to go out at an early age and conquer the world. So now even if you do get a girlfriend, your lack of experience is going to be present. Like a woman's going to notice, hey, there's something off about this guy. How come he doesn't take charge as a man? How come he's wishy-washy? He doesn't why is his confidence so low? Like women, that's unattractive to a woman. A man that can't really decide is unattractive to a woman. Women want somebody that's decisive. You ask a girl, oh, where you want to go to lunch today? I don't know. You just gotta say it. Hey, baby, we finna go to Red Lobster real quick. We finna go to Red Lobster. And that's that. Boom. Maybe she said she doesn't want to eat that or whatever, but for the most part, women want somebody that's decisive. Let's just be real. Women just want Chad and Tyrone, if we're being honest. And a lot of us, we faced psychological abuse, emotional abuse, spiritual abuse from Yaldabaoth and the Demiurge. We faced abuse from, a lot of people, society as a whole, family members. You got somebody who's around you in your family. Could be your mom, your dad, your uncle, your grandmother, grandfather, whoever. And these people are always around you mad. They're angry. They're yelling. They're fighting. And then they get mad at you saying you ain't doing nothing and you ain't going to ever become nothing. And that hurts you. So what do you do? And if you're a person that you don't have no creative outlet, you can't make like art, that's going to destroy you on the inside. That's going to trap you on the inside, because all of us, we need love. We need to have a woman, but it feels like at times it's like it's not even worth it. And first of all, we can't even get what we want anyway, and it's just not natural for so many young men to be invisible in this world. You have some men that they're invisible, and then you have some other men that are invincible, meaning that they'll never go through the things that we go through. They get the women, they get the cars, they get everything. They go to the frat house, and they have those old school Roman orgies. Everybody knows what goes on in college and these frat houses. Like you have this girl who grew up in Michigan or Minnesota or Nebraska, and her whole town is filled with people that look like her. And then she goes to college, in California, and then she meets Tyrone. Now her whole family, would never accept that, but now she's away from her family and she's at college, and so she's gonna be she's gonna be promiscuous. She's gonna be a little promiscuous, and I don't emphasize the little. She's gonna be, a harlot. She's going to experience all of that. And a lot of us, we didn't go, like some of us that went to college, it's like we didn't go to college because you never had no sexual experiences like that. And some of us didn't go to college at all. We went to college just a little bit, but it was nothing. It wasn't that college experience that we really wanted, where you go, you meet girls, you get a girlfriend, then you get another girlfriend, you get another girlfriend, you get, like you go to these college parties, you have the beer pong, you have two girls at once that, late at night, 3 a.m., by the beach, feet in the water, you getting fellatio with a high ratio from two beautiful girls, and you hit it from the back. And, I'm not going to get too explicit, but you know what it is. Come on. These are experiences you're supposed to have as a man that's going to take that when times get hard, you can think about these memories in the past and they'll fuel your adventures for the future. Instead, we have negative events and negative circumstances that fuel our minds and feel the events of the future, which is why we're stuck in this substantial emotional loop. We're stuck in this chaotic chaos that it seems to never get better. It seems to never alleviate. It seems to just penetrate all of our senses and destroy our mind. You know, the destruction of the human mind over a period of time is horrendous because you have belief in yourself in the beginning, and then it slowly deteriorates due to the negative events in your life and the negative circumstances that tend to accumulate and tend to gain a lot of attention. And it's bad. Especially just want to have a normal relationship. How can any of us have a normal relationship with females now, going through the things we've been through, the hell that we've been through, the pain that we've been through that made us insane? How can we really find a girl, because a lot of us, we have emotional deficiencies. And it's very difficult for us to even think about having an active relationship. That's why I can't wait till the robots come out, the sex bots or whatever they're making in Japan or China, wherever they're making them. When that comes, a lot of lonely men are finally going to have something to hug, something to kiss, something to miss, something to make life just a little less adrift. But I guarantee they're going to try to, first it's going to be expensive. They're probably going to have different tiers of robots, Some are going to be more cheaper than others or whatever. But I guarantee those robots are going to be monitoring us and watching us. Even when you turn them off, they're going to be on, listening to you 24/7, reporting all your information back to some type of secret data center underground. I know y'all heard about them data centers that use all that water and stuff or whatever, and they're collecting all of our data. Why do you think they're collecting and archiving all of our data? What are they going to do with this information that they know about us? What are they doing with it? Because when somebody gains information, they're trying to use it or trying to use it for the future for something. They hold on to it and they think that they can use it for the future in case you blow up or in case something happens or in case they think they can use that or whatever. It's weird. But when the government does these things, it's nefarious. They have nefarious purposes. They don't want the average person to be happy or free. They want us to be miserable. That's why modern life is designed to be miserable. After you graduate college, there's no way you can meet beautiful young girls anymore. You can't meet those girls that are 22, 23, 24, 25 years old, college age girls, When you get into the workforce, your whole life becomes into survival mode. You got to pay bills. You got to make money. And you can't make money doing anything illegal. You have to follow and abide by the law. And I would do a little wink there, but you got to get it how you can get it. You know what I mean? And your mind has to be focused on an accumulation and retention of monetary resources, of a substantial financial acceleration. So you can't really focus on trying to get a girl if you can't. Especially if you're a guy that's unattractive, your whole mind got to be focused on just money accumulation. So when you wake up, you go to work. You can't date girls at your job because that's going to be bad. That can turn to a possible criminal situation, especially if you're unattractive. You say the wrong thing to a girl at work, and that's your job, your career, and possibly your life. It can be destroyed in seconds. It would take 20 years to build up a career, and you can lose a career in 20 seconds. I repeat it. It can take 20 years to build up a career, and then you can lose that same career in 20 seconds, less than a minute, by saying the wrong thing. This whole world is built on that. That's the emphasis of this world, is that it takes so long to achieve something so good, and the good lasts mere seconds. Meanwhile, the pain and the agony last a lifetime, hell eternally. Right? So what kind of hell realm are we really trapped in? Where you can't even be a man and stand on your feet because it takes money. It's costly. Not everybody's born rich and wealthy, and most of us were born into poverty-stricken positions. Most of us, we don't got no place to go. We're homeless, and we're nomads. We go from place to 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 place. And then you got people who don't like you, who are listening to your videos, trying to find out information about you. But the more information they think they're finding out, the more evidence for the police to get involved, because certain people, you have to, it's crazy that I even have to say this because I'm a man, I'm not even a woman, but you can have stalkers online who sit and they watch you and they try to collect information, and they treat you like you're some type of, like they're treating you like you're going to become famous or you are famous. There's something about you that intrigues them, but they don't want to admit it. So instead, they turn it into hatred towards you and start trying to attack you online. You know, and you may think, oh, it's just online, but it's different when somebody crosses from online harassment to in real life harassment, and then they still watch your videos. That's just to me. It's just, who's that pathetic and despicable? Like, who goes the extra mile and does all this extra shit to get somebody doxxed? Who does that? That's why that's the black pill community. That's why people don't like that term, black pill. That whole black pill community, is filled with some of the most racist, tasteless, baseless people you can imagine. It's filled with people that are willing to dox you, that they're willing to try to mess your real life up just for the LOLs, and they think it's funny till something bad happens to them. Then it won't be funny then, well, will it? And they think that nothing's going to happen to them. They think they got away with it. They hid the IP addresses. They deleted accounts, not understanding that even if you make an account, even if you change your IP, there are ways for the police can find you, right? It's crazy that as a grown man, you got to deal with other grown men in their 40s and up that tend to just have some type of hard on for you. It's weird. It's like, why the fuck are you caring about my life so much? Why are you asking about my living situation when you don't really care about that? Right? Because if you really cared, why don't you donate some money towards me? Why don't we find the people who doxed Tawana and put those people in prison where they belong? The people that dox me, the people that go and harass people online. How come everybody listening or everybody who's on don't attack those people? People know who did it, But yet those people still up, and they're still up and running and trolling. Nothing happened to them. Tawana's channel's gone, because of trolls. And nobody ever got back on those trolls. They're just allowed to do whatever they want for now, right? It's just ridiculous, man. My best advice, young man, is mind your business. Don't start nothing and there won't be nothing. Don't sit there and watch somebody online who you may not disagree with and then sit there and try to find out their life and do this. That's just weird. That's not normal behavior. That's somebody that is extremely pathetic and is a loser and a failure and will never amount to anything in life. But you guys that have the divine spark, I believe in you guys. You guys that show me love, I love you guys, man. And I thank you guys for watching my channel and supporting me, and, staying with me in these difficult times where it's very hard to try to sustain your mind because of all the pain and all the things that are made to drive us insane. Once again, I thank everybody who loves me and supports me, and anybody who cash apps me or PayPals me or whatever. I appreciate it because I'm broke, but I got a talent, and I believe if I stay focused and if I can survive what I survived, I'll be one of the best rappers in the world if I had the right support system. And I may not be the most famous, but hell, maybe I can make a living off of it.